So we need to talk about the commitments made at the All-American game because some of these are going to be massively impactful and we need to break it down. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes and for no. Are you happy with how your team has been recruiting so far? And let me know where you stand. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. Those interactions are massive to content creators such as myself in both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all that being said, let's hop right into this and let's start in the north, where Ohio State adds in Kanu, one of the most intriguing prospects in the entire class. For those of you not familiar, Kanu really took the nation by storm about a year ago. Hailing from Germany, it did not take him long to adjust to the American brand of football. All that to say is, it didn't take long for every institution in the nation to take notice. While he was touring the nation and camping this summer, he impressed institution after institution, and ultimately, he chose Ohio State. Now, if you are Ohio State, you've got to be over the moon for a few reasons. First and foremost, this kid has a phenomenally high ceiling. Anytime you can take someone who hasn't fully adjusted to the game of football yet, and you can already see how incredibly talented Kanu is, you have got to be over the moon. And make no mistake, I'm not saying he's someone who needs a whole lot of development before he gets in there. I'm simply saying he has not been playing American football for as long as a lot of the other prospects, but that doesn't mean he isn't ready. He is very good in a lot of aspects, and sky is the limit for what his ceiling could be. So I am really excited to see what Kanu is able to do on the next level. For those of you that have been around the channel for a while, I picked up on the Kanu news pretty soon after he started making waves because I was intrigued when I watched his film, and come to find out he is one of the top players in all of the nation. Can't wait to see what he does in Columbus. But now let's head west, where Lincoln Riley and USC got a win. CJ Williams, the wide receiver who was one time committed to Notre Dame, decommitted from Notre Dame due to the coaching carousel, and is now at USC for that same coaching carousel. Lincoln Riley gets a big win here because this class only had 7 players before you get in CJ Williams. And sure, Lincoln Riley hasn't been there long enough for him to really turn around recruiting that quickly, right? It'd be an incredibly tall task to do so, but suffice to say, any battle you can win right now is one you absolutely need to win because you have so few recruits. It is going to be interesting to see if Lincoln Riley uses the portal in a manner to be able to mitigate some of those losses in the recruiting department, but I digress off of that. What we can do is look at the talent that is in the class, and even though USC only has about 8 commits thus far in this class, their average recruit rating is above a 90, so that just goes to show you that they are getting really quality players. Damani Jackson, 5-star cornerback. Raleek Brown, 5-star running back, who was really impressive this week at the Under Armour All-American game, which really surprises nobody if you've watched him play. He's got a really high ceiling, and I'm really excited to see what he does in that Lincoln Riley offense. But now CJ Williams chooses the Trojans and inserts himself into what could be a really dangerous offense for USC, but something we have got to really look at. But even though this was a massive win for the Trojans, one that was great for Lincoln Riley to have, it wasn't all great news, because they lost out on in-state prospect Larry Gooden-Turner, who committed to the Texas Longhorns. Texas needs all the help they can get, and especially in the secondary, they're going to take any talent they can, and they absolutely got a playmaker in Gooden. 6 foot, 190-ish pounds, hailing from California, the 4-star safety is one that I know Texas fans are going to be very happy to get in. He's going to mesh well in this defense, and he's going to be someone who can really help down the line in the future. But we need to stay in the South because not only did Texas get a good commitment, Georgia and Florida also came out with a really solid commit today. For Georgia, offensive lineman Ernest Greene, and anytime you can get in a top offensive lineman, you're over the moon. And Ernest Greene is just that, a top offensive lineman who looks to help strengthen the Dogs front for years to come. And that's absolute music to the ears of Dogs fans and the Dog coaching staff because you just do not argue with top tier trench guys coming to your institution. That's how you build up and be able to stockpile for runs in the future. So great get by the Georgia Bulldogs. The Florida Gators get Trevor Etienne, and yes, that is the younger brother of Travis Etienne, the former Clemson running back, which is really interesting that he didn't choose Clemson. It's not a foregone conclusion that when older brother goes somewhere, younger brother follows. It just helps your chances because there is a familiarity of relationships. But we have seen multiple times in the past younger brother not follow older brother. As you can see the Alabama sign behind me, one that comes to mind instantly is Stephon Diggs and Trayvon Diggs, both of which are absolute balling in the NFL right now, so you don't have to go to the same institution as your family did to find that success. It just is interesting that he did not choose Clemson, and what a win for the Florida Gators and Billy Napier. You have got to be really happy you get in the talent that Etienne has, and I'm very excited to see what he does at the next level. But sticking in the state of Florida, Mario Cristobal is really enjoying early success as the head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, because not only was he able to flip Jaleel Skinner, the top tight end in the class from Alabama on early National Signing Day, but now he looks to secure Cyrus Moss, the 6'6" edge, which is a massive win. And finally, the last player we need to talk about is Kevin Coleman, the 4-star wide receiver, committing to Jackson State, giving Deion Sanders two premier playmakers in this class that every institution in the nation at one time or another would have loved to have had a part of their class. Travis Hunter the first, and now Kevin Coleman joining him, a talented wide receiver, a wide receiver that you must account for whenever he's on the field, because when he gets the ball in his hands, he can make a defense pay in major ways. This is going to be really intriguing to see what happens with Jackson State next. If they can continue getting in players such as Kevin Coleman, Travis Hunter, it's going to be very, very hard for them to be stopped at that level. And Deion is already showing he can recruit, and the age of NIL is one that will be a positive for institutions such as Jackson State, institutions that now have an opportunity to get some top-tier talent, where once it was much more difficult for them. So I'm very interested in this move, because I thought when Travis Hunter made this move, this could be one that had ripple effects. I just didn't know how soon we would see it. And here we are, not long after, a top wide receiver in the nation, a 4-star, one that many places would have loved to have had, one that many thought was going to Miami, decides to go to Jackson State. Can't wait to hear from y'all. That's it. See ya.